Most people think the greatest tragedy in life is death. But the greatest tragedy is not death, it is a life lived without purpose. A person can live 70, 80, even 90 years and still waste their life if those years were never connected to the reason they were created. Life is not measured by the number of birthdays you celebrate. Life is measured by the assignment you complete while you are alive. Time is the most valuable resource given to every human being. Money can be lost and earned again. Opportunities may return, but time never comes back. Once a minute passes, it is gone forever. That is why understanding the value of time is the beginning of wisdom. Every human being receives the same 24 hours each day. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not the amount of time they receive, but how they manage the time they are given. When you understand that time carries your purpose, you begin to treat every hour with respect. You begin to realize that every day is an opportunity to move closer to the life you were designed to live. Many people waste their lives not because they are lazy, but because they are distracted. Distractions steal more dreams than failure ever could. A distracted mind cannot build a focused life. When vision is unclear, time is easily wasted on activities that have no connection to purpose. Vision gives direction to time. When you know where you are going, you become careful about what you allow into your schedule. Your calendar begins to reflect your priorities rather than your impulses. Discipline is what transforms vision into daily action. Without discipline, time slips away through small, careless decisions. Hours become days. Days become years. And suddenly a person realizes that their potential was never fully used. The secret to maximizing time is learning to invest it intentionally. Just as wise investors carefully choose where to place their money, wise individuals carefully choose where to place their hours. Your daily habits determine the direction of your life. Small actions repeated consistently will eventually shape your future. A single hour used wisely every day can transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. Protecting your time also requires learning the power of self-control. Not every invitation deserves your attention. Not every opportunity deserves your energy. Some activities simply distract you from the assignment you were born to fulfill. Successful people understand that saying no is often more important than saying yes. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to something meaningful. Another key to maximizing time is understanding priorities. Activity does not equal productivity. Being busy is not the same as being effective. A person can be busy every day and still accomplish nothing important. Productive people focus their energy on the things that truly matter. They identify the actions that move their life forward and give those actions their best attention. Consistency is another powerful principle. Great achievements are rarely the result of one dramatic moment. They are the result of small disciplined actions repeated over long periods of time. When you consistently invest your time in growth, learning, and purposeful work, your life begins to expand. Your influence grows, your opportunities increase, and slowly your potential begins to reveal itself. A life that respects time eventually creates impact. A life that wastes time eventually creates regret. One day every person will look back on their life. The question will not be how long you lived, but how well you used the time you were given. Your time is your life. To waste time is to waste life. But to invest time wisely is to build a legacy that will outlive you. Life is measured not simply by the number of years a person spends on earth, but by the purpose that is discovered, pursued, and fulfilled within those years. Many people focus on longevity, believing that a long life automatically means a meaningful life. Yet history shows that a person can live many decades and still leave little impact if those years were not connected to a clear assignment. Time by itself does not create value. Purpose gives time its meaning. Without purpose, days become routine. Routines become years, and life slowly passes without direction. Purpose is what transforms existence into significance. When a person understands why they are alive, every day becomes an opportunity rather than just another cycle of activities. Waking up is no longer simply about going through responsibilities. It becomes about advancing a mission that is greater than comfort or survival. Purpose organizes priorities, shapes decisions, and determines where energy should be invested. A person who knows their purpose begins to measure life differently. They no longer ask how long they have lived, but how faithfully they have used the time they were given. The world remembers individuals not because they lived many years, but because they used their years intentionally. Some people live a short time but accomplish extraordinary things because they understood their assignment early and pursued it with focus and discipline. Others live long lives yet struggle to explain what their time produced because they never connected their abilities to a meaningful direction. This truth reminds us that the value of life is not counted by calendars but by contribution. Every human being carries potential that was designed to produce something unique in the world. Purpose is the key that unlocks that potential. When a person discovers their purpose, time becomes precious, distractions become less attractive, and daily actions begin to align with a greater vision. Each moment becomes part of building something meaningful rather than simply passing through life. Life is not a race to accumulate years, but an opportunity to fulfill a reason for being. When purpose guides your days, even ordinary moments begin to carry extraordinary meaning. Time is the invisible container that carries everything you were sent to accomplish on earth. Every dream, every talent, every idea, and every contribution you will ever make must travel through the limited space called time. This means your assignment in life cannot exist outside of time. It must be discovered, developed, and fulfilled within the days, months, and years you are given. That is why understanding time is one of the most important lessons a person can learn. When people misunderstand time, they often misuse their lives. Many individuals treat time casually, as if it is an unlimited resource that will always be available. They postpone important decisions, delay personal growth, and ignore opportunities for development because they assume there will always be another chance tomorrow. Yet tomorrow is never guaranteed. Time moves forward with perfect consistency, and it never pauses for hesitation or regret. While people debate, doubt, or procrastinate, time continues carrying their potential toward an unseen deadline. Your life assignment is placed inside this container, and every passing day moves that container forward. Each morning you wake up, you are receiving another portion of time that can be invested in your purpose. How you use those hours determines whether your assignment moves closer to completion or slowly drifts away from fulfillment. Time does not judge your choices, but it faithfully records them through the results they produce. When a person understands that time carries their assignment, they begin to treat every day differently. Ordinary hours become valuable opportunities rather than empty spaces to be filled with distractions. Activities are chosen more carefully because the individual recognizes that every decision either moves them closer to their purpose or further away from it. Life becomes intentional rather than accidental. The wise person learns to respect the container of time because they understand that once it passes, it cannot be recovered. Each moment is a chance to move your life forward, to develop your gifts, and to contribute something meaningful to the world before the container closes. A person who does not value time will eventually waste destiny because time is the only vehicle through which destiny can be fulfilled. Every dream, every vision, and every opportunity in life must travel through the hours and days a person is given. When someone treats time carelessly, they are unknowingly treating their future the same way. Destiny is not fulfilled by accident, it is fulfilled through the disciplined use of time. If time is ignored, destiny slowly fades into unrealized potential. Many people think destiny is something that will automatically happen if it is meant to be. They believe that if something is truly theirs, it will come to them regardless of how they use their time. But destiny does not work that way. Destiny requires preparation, focus, and consistent action. It requires investing time in developing skills, strengthening character, and pursuing meaningful goals. When time is wasted on distractions, procrastination, and careless habits, the opportunity to grow into one's destiny begins to disappear. When a person develops discipline, time begins to change his character. An hour is no longer just 60 passing minutes. It becomes an opportunity to build skill, develop character, and move closer to a meaningful goal. Small, consistent efforts start to accumulate, and those efforts eventually create noticeable progress. What once seemed like ordinary time begins to produce extraordinary outcomes. Discipline also protects time from waste. It creates boundaries around attention, energy, and focus so that distractions cannot easily steal valuable moments. Over weeks and months, disciplined habits multiply the value of each day. The difference between unused time and productive time is discipline. Time provides the opportunity, but discipline converts that opportunity into real and lasting results. Vision protects your hours from distractions and meaningless activity because it gives your life a clear direction. When a person knows where they are going, they become more careful about what they allow into their time. Without vision, every opportunity looks attractive, every invitation seems important, and every distraction feels harmless. But when vision becomes clear, a powerful filter begins to shape how time is used. A person with vision understands that not everything deserves their attention. Distractions are one of the greatest enemies of progress. They rarely appear as obvious dangers. Instead, they often come disguised as harmless entertainment, unnecessary conversations, or activities that provide temporary satisfaction but produce no long-term value. Without vision, people drift toward whatever is easiest or most immediately rewarding. Hours slowly disappear through habits that feel comfortable but lead nowhere meaningful. Vision changes this pattern by providing a reason to protect time. When you have a clear picture of the future you want to build, every hour becomes connected to that picture. Your decisions begin to revolve around what moves you closer to that vision. Activities that once seemed appealing begin to lose their influence because they no longer align with the direction of your life. A person guided by vision learns to guard their time with intention. They begin to ask important questions before committing their energy. Does this help me move forward, or does it simply consume my attention? This simple awareness creates discipline in how time is invested. It allows the individual to focus on actions that contribute to growth, learning, and meaningful achievement. Vision also creates motivation during moments when distractions feel tempting. When a person remembers the larger goal they are working toward, it becomes easier to resist activities that waste valuable hours. Over time, this protection of time begins to produce progress that others can see. In this way, vision acts like a shield for your life. It keeps distractions from stealing your time and ensures that your hours are invested in building something meaningful rather than being lost in meaningless activity. Daily priorities determine whether time is invested or wasted because priorities decide what receives your attention first. Every person begins the day with the same amount of time, but the way those hours are arranged and used depends on the choices made about what matters most. When priorities are unclear, the day quickly becomes controlled by interruptions, random tasks, and the demands of other people. A person may remain busy from morning until night and still accomplish very little that truly moves their life forward. Time does not organize itself. It responds to decisions. If a person does not intentionally decide what deserves the most attention, other forces will decide for them. Email, social media, unnecessary conversations, and small unimportant tasks can easily fill the entire day. These activities may create the feeling of productivity, but in reality they often consume energy without producing meaningful results. Daily priorities create structure for how time is invested. When a person identifies the most important responsibilities and goals before the day begins, they take control of their time instead of reacting to everything that appears. Important tasks are addressed while energy and focus are strongest, and less important activities are kept in their proper place. This approach prevents valuable hours from being consumed by minor distractions. Priorities also reflect what a person truly values. The way someone uses their time reveals what they consider important in life. If growth, purpose, and meaningful contribution are truly valued, those things must appear regularly in the schedule. Without clear priorities, even important dreams can slowly disappear beneath the weight of daily distractions. Consistency in daily priorities eventually produces long-term results. Small actions repeated each day begin to accumulate into noticeable progress. Over weeks, months, and years, these consistent priorities shape the direction of a person's life. Time that might have been wasted instead becomes a steady investment in growth, achievement, and purpose. In this way, daily priorities act as the gatekeepers of time. They determine whether each hour becomes a step toward fulfillment or simply another moment that passes without lasting impact. Daily priorities determine whether time is invested or wasted because each day presents countless options for how attention and energy can be used. Life does not pause to organize itself around your goals. It moves forward regardless of how intentionally you use your time. If a person begins the day without clearly deciding what matters most, the day will quickly be filled with whatever appears first. Urgent demands, unexpected requests, and temporary distractions will take control of the schedule, leaving little room for the activities that truly matter. Many people believe they lack time to pursue meaningful goals, yet the real issue is often the absence of clear priorities. When priorities are undefined, everything begins to feel equally important. Small tasks compete with significant responsibilities, and the mind struggles to decide where to focus. As a result, energy becomes scattered across many directions, and progress in important areas slows down or stops completely. When a person establishes strong daily priorities, time begins to work differently. The day gains structure and direction because the most valuable tasks receive attention first. Instead of reacting to circumstances, the individual becomes intentional about how the hours will be used. Important goals are given protected space within the day, ensuring that they are not pushed aside by less meaningful activities. Priorities also help preserve mental energy. When a person knows exactly what deserves their focus, decision-making becomes clearer and more efficient. There is less confusion about what to do next because the order of importance has already been determined. This clarity allows the mind to concentrate fully on the work that produces real progress. Over time, these daily choices shape the overall direction of life. A single day may seem small, but days accumulate into weeks, months, and years. When each day is guided by meaningful priorities, time becomes an investment that gradually builds growth, achievement, and purpose, rather than quietly disappearing without impact. Consistent action multiplies the power of every moment, because progress in life is rarely the result of a single dramatic effort. Instead, real growth is created through small actions, repeated over time. Many people wait for perfect conditions, sudden inspiration, or a powerful burst of motivation before they begin working toward their goals. But lasting achievement is not built on occasional excitement. It is built on the discipline of showing up again and again, using each moment to move forward, even when the steps seem small. Every moment carries potential, but that potential only becomes meaningful when it is used repeatedly in the same direction. A single hour of focused effort can produce some progress, but when that effort is repeated daily, the results begin to multiply. What once seemed like a small action becomes the foundation for larger accomplishments. Consistency turns ordinary time into a powerful force for change. This principle can be seen in every area of life. Skills are developed through repeated practice. Knowledge grows through daily learning. Strong character is shaped through consistent decisions to act with discipline and integrity. None of these results appear instantly. They are built through the steady investment of time and effort, moment after moment. Consistent action also strengthens confidence. Each small success creates momentum that encourages further effort. As progress becomes visible, motivation begins to grow naturally. A person who once doubted their ability to move forward begins to see clear evidence that their actions are producing results. This reinforces the habit of continuing the work. Another important effect of consistency is that it protects progress from being lost. Occasional effort may create temporary results, but those results often fade if action is not sustained. Consistency ensures that growth continues rather than disappearing after short bursts of activity. In this way, consistent action multiplies the power of time. Each moment becomes a building block, and over time those building blocks form achievements that once seemed impossible. Through steady effort, ordinary moments accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. Self-control guards your time from destructive habits because time is easily influenced by the choices a person repeatedly makes. Every day presents countless opportunities to either move closer to a meaningful life or drift toward habits that slowly consume valuable hours. Without self-control, it becomes easy to follow impulses that provide immediate comfort but create long-term loss. These habits may seem small at first, but over time they quietly steal the time that could have been used for growth, learning, and purposeful work. Many destructive habits appear harmless in the moment. Endless scrolling through social media, unnecessary entertainment, procrastination, or delaying important responsibilities can feel relaxing or enjoyable. Yet these activities often expand far beyond the time originally intended for them. Minutes become hours, and hours become a routine pattern that repeats every day. Without strong self-control, a person may not realize how much time is slowly being consumed until months or years have passed. Self-control is the ability to guide your actions according to purpose rather than impulse. It allows a person to pause before acting and consider whether a particular activity truly deserves their time. This ability creates a protective boundary around the hours of the day. Instead of being controlled by distractions, the individual begins to control how attention and energy are directed. Developing self-control also strengthens discipline in daily life. It encourages the habit of choosing activities that support long-term goals rather than temporary satisfaction. Over time, these repeated choices build a lifestyle where time is used intentionally rather than carelessly. As destructive habits lose their influence, productive habits begin to replace them. The true power of self-control is not in restricting life, but in protecting what matters most. By guarding time from habits that waste energy and attention, a person creates space for meaningful work, personal growth, and purposeful achievement. In this way, self-control becomes one of the strongest defenses against a life slowly consumed by distraction and regret. A purposeful life turns time into legacy because purpose gives meaning to every moment that a person lives. Time by itself simply passes, but when it is guided by a clear purpose, it begins to produce results that extend far beyond the present. Many people spend years moving through routines without ever connecting their time to a greater mission. In such cases, days pass quietly and eventually disappear without leaving a lasting mark. But when a person lives with purpose, every hour becomes part of building something that will outlive them. Purpose gives direction to how time is invested. Instead of drifting through life reacting to circumstances, a purposeful individual begins to live intentionally. Decisions are shaped by the desire to fulfill an assignment rather than simply seeking comfort or temporary success. This mindset transforms ordinary activities into meaningful contributions. Work becomes more than just earning income. Learning becomes more than collecting information, and daily effort becomes part of a larger vision. Legacy is created when the actions of one life continue to influence others, long after that life has passed. A purposeful person understands that their time is not only about personal benefit, but also about impact. The knowledge they share, the values they demonstrate, and the contributions they make begin to affect people around them. Over time, these influences grow and spread, shaping families, communities, and even future generations. When purpose guides a life, time is no longer wasted on meaningless pursuits. Energy is directed toward activities that build character, create value, and inspire others. Small moments accumulate into significant achievements, and those achievements become part of a lasting story. In this way, a purposeful life transforms time into something far greater than a sequence of passing days. It turns time into a legacy of influence, growth, and contribution that continues long after the moments themselves have ended.